Carissa from Creative Green Living, and today I am going to teach you guys how to make fresh pickles. As a lot of you who follow me know, I'm a Shaklee 180 blogger, which means that I'm on the Shaklee 180 program to lose weight. I've lost 20 pounds so far, and one of the nice things about the program is that you can eat as many pickles as you want, and they're included. So you could eat heat processed, kind of rubbery pickles from the store if you wanted to, but during the summertime, when fresh cucumbers are available, they're a really nice treat to have freshly prepared cucumbers straight from your garden that you can turn into pickles. It's actually really easy, and this is how you do it. So the first thing you need to do is get your pickles. Now, if you're a gardener, it's easy to let your cucumbers go. So you need to know that you have to pick the cucumbers when they're the right size. So this is kind of your standard pickling size cucumber. Here's one that I let go a little bit too long, and really they keep growing until you pick them. So this is the monster pickle. This weighs 1.5 pounds because it was hiding, and I didn't find it until it had gotten this big. So you can actually still pickle them when they're this big. You just need a really big jar, and you're gonna wanna cut it up into pieces instead of like throwing a whole pickle this size into the jar. So you will need a bowl of cucumbers. This is just a small one for demo purposes. The recipe I'm going to show you will do a batch of about 35 to 40 cucumbers that are this size, and maybe 15 to 20 that are about this size. So you need to mix your spices together first. You need to buy pickling spice as well as dry dill seeds. So to make your mix, get a tablespoon and measure 4 tablespoons of dry dill. Oh man, I had exactly 4 tablespoons. That worked out great. All right, 4 tablespoons of dry dill seeds and then 2 tablespoons of pickling spice. And this isn't really an exact science, so I'm not being really specific about measuring it and leveling it off. I'm just kind of throwing it in the thing, even over the bowl. It's okay, a little bit extra ends up in there. And then I'm just gonna get a spoon and then mix these 2 seasonings together. So in addition to the seasoning, you're also going to need some garlic cloves, and you'll need 4 to 8 garlic cloves depending on the size. You will also need apple cider vinegar and canning salt, which is different than table salt because it doesn't have iodine in it, and you'll want to use that so that your pickle brine doesn't get cloudy. And I actually pre-prepared the brine, and I do it in 1 gallon increments, and I'll make pickles and then I'll save the extra brine just in glass jars in my fridge so that I have it ready for the next time I make pickles. So for each jar of pickles, you need to get your cucumbers, and you wash them really good, but don't scrub them so hard that like the little bumpies come off. And then you can either, if they're small ones, like this one, you could really throw the whole thing in here. Or if they're big ones, you want to cut them up. So you want to cut the ends off where the blossom and the stem ends were, and then just cut them into, you can do spears, or if you like to do hamburgers, you could also do slices. I like to get a crinkle cutter out and use my crinkle cutter to make hamburger slices as well. So just throw these in here. I'll get one more. This is a great thing. You don't actually have to use canning jars for this because they're not going to be heat processed. So if you have leftover jars from things, or if you have really jars that are too large for canning, that would be a great use for those jars as well. So go ahead and fill your jar up with cut up cucumbers. Oh, there's a little bit of extra space. I'm going to throw at least part of this cucumber in there. All right, I think I've got that packed in there pretty good. Okay, and then you're gonna need about 1.5 tablespoons of this spice mix that we made with the dill and the pickling spice. And again, I am just gonna kind of eyeball it. So I get one, and I kind of sprinkle it in the top, shake it to settle, and then get about 1/2 tablespoon. Throw it in there, shake it around. Now for your garlic cloves, if you have some pretty big garlic cloves, you could just do 1 per jar. If you have little ones like this, then you'd want to do 2 per jar. If you want to take the skin off of them, and if the bottoms are a little bit brown after you peel them, just pop that part off with your knife. and then throw it in your jar. I'm gonna throw 2 in here, and then you're gonna put the brine on top. So this brine, you make it in really large batch. So I get a large bowl and I fill it with 1 gallon of cold water, and then I add 1 cup of cider vinegar and then 2/3 of a cup of canning salt. Then you get a whisk and you whisk it until every last bit of salt is totally dissolved, and then you can use that to make your pickles, and then save any leftovers for the next time you make pickles. So this is the brine, and then you just pour it over the cucumbers. Super easy. Now the important part for this is that you have to make sure that the brine totally covers the top of the cucumbers. You don't want to have any part of the cucumbers sticking up outside of the brine, or they won't actually pickle, and then it can start to rot. That's bad. So make sure everything is totally covered. Your spices might float on top, and that's okay. And then you either want to cover it really lightly with the lid. Don't screw it on all the way, just kind of put it like this to keep some bugs off, or you can put a piece of cheesecloth over it, and then you set it out on your counter at room temperature, and you want it to stay there for about 4 to 5 days. And you're gonna let it stay there, and you can keep testing your pickles to see when they taste pickly enough to you. And once they taste perfect, then screw the lid on all the way and then pop it in the fridge. And these will keep for about 2 months in your refrigerator, as long as you keep the brine topped off. So that's another convenient thing for having some extra brine, is if you eat the pickles out of here and then the brine level starts to go down so that the pickles aren't completely submerged, then you want to top it off with a little bit more brine to keep it under there and keep the pickles staying fresh. So that's it. It's really easy, in just about half an hour, to make, a gallon, gallon and a half of pickles, and they are delicious. They are way better than any processed heat canned pickles, and as long as you've got fridge space, that's what you're going to want to do. And if you've got friends, just make sure you make extra and share them with them. So thanks for watching. You can see the whole written down recipe on my website at creativegreenliving.com. Just type in pickle in the search box and it'll come right up for you. And thanks for watching. If you liked it, please make sure you give me a thumbs up.